Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the Media Boat Podcast, where we talk about movies, TV, music, and video games, not necessarily in that order. My name is Mike. His name is Matt.
My name is Matt. His name is Mike. Thank you for joining us today on the Media Boat Podcast. Today is August 12th, 2025. This is episode 499. That means next week is Big 500. Not sure how we're going to celebrate, but maybe we'll do something fun to commemorate the event.
We celebrate with
Um,
cake.
Cake. I would love a cake.
The band, not the food.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Long, short skirt and a long jacket.
Yes.
Yeah, so let's get going. We probably have a short one today. Not a whole lot going on, not a whole lot of thoughts. It's kind of the dog days of summer.
Right, but we do cover some of our favorite topics on this
Yes.
episode.
Yeah,
So,
it's a greatest hits of sorts going into 500 here, which is fitting in a way.
yeah, so let's get right into it with the music section. Start the music section with the Billboard. Start the Billboard with the Hot 100. And the hottest song in the land is Ordered. No, it's not Ordered. It's
No.
Golden by Huntrix by various artists.
Yeah, this is the first time since We Don't Talk About Bruno that a song from a children's movie has been number one on the Billboard Hot 100. It's also notable because this is the first time I think that that's ever happened that hasn't been a Disney song. So congratulations to K-pop.
Wait, are we not counting Billie Eilish and the Barbie song?
No, I'm saying animated film. Like
Okay.
animated children's film. Like I may not have said animated, but I did say children's. Barbie is not a kids movie. Let's be
Are
real.
you sure?
No, it's not. It's rated PG-13 for one.
All right. At two is Ordinary by Alex Warren. Coming in at three, The Subway by Chapel Roan.
Mhm.
At four, What I Want, Not Morgan Wallen, featuring Tate McRae. And pushing up to the top five, Daisies by Justin Bieber.
Daisies. Yeah, debuting this week is that The Subway from Chapel Roan. That is her newest single, but something she's been teasing for about a handful of months now. Um, it's all right. That's
Now,
my review.
it's a single, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean there's going to be an album.
No, yeah, not for a while.
All right. As for your albums chart, your Billboard 200, at number one is still the problem himself,
Yep.
Morgan Wallen. Coming in at two is Cake Pop Demon Hunters, soundtrack by various artists. Coming in at three, Bite Me by Renee Rapp.
Mhm.
At number four, Thy Kingdom Come by Unalive Boy.
You can say the name. We're a podcast. We're not a TikTok.
Okay. Money Uicide Boy Money.
Yeah, there you go. You got it.
And we got your top five, Swag by Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
If you didn't like any of those albums, we have new releases,
Mhm.
starting with Flux by Alison Goldfrapp, Soak by Black Honey. You don't like the way I said soak, did you?
Yeah, no, I didn't enjoy that.
That's okay, because you can also listen to Freak Out City by Brett McKenzie,
Whoa.
Interior Live Oak by Cass McCombs.
Probably Live Oak.
Could be. We also have Starline by Chance the Rapper. Yes, that Chance the Rapper.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. Bright as Blasphemy by Chevelle. Yes, that 15-year-old band Chevelle.
Yeah, I hadn't seen that name in a very long time.
We also have Wishbone by Conan Gray. New Radiations by Marissa Nadler. So Long, Little Miss Sunshine by Molly Tuttle. I don't assume it's related to the movie Little Miss Sunshine. But not to be outdone, there's also Sunshine and Balance Beams by Pyle. And your big two albums this week dropping are Ricochet by Rise Against and Love is Like by Maroon 5. Or is it Love is Like and not Love is Like? Dot, 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 dot.
Yeah, who
Who
knows?
knows what Adam Levine is thinking naming that album? But hey, a new Rise Against album. I will be checking this out.
There you go.
All right. Let's go on to music news
Yep.
where the internet broke
Yeah.
because a podcast is happening tomorrow that we are going to be competing against.
Yeah. Yeah, that's tomorrow, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the new episode is tomorrow of Travis Kelsey's podcast. Well, and his brother's podcast, Jason Kelsey's. Not the New Heights, it's just New Heights show. And so they've been promoting it and putting out some teasers out there. And then the internet broke on one half, which was not the podcast half, which is where everyone got the announcement that Taylor Swift, yes, Travis Kelsey's girlfriend herself, Miss Swift, has announced her 12th studio album, The Life of a Showgirl, hours after posting a mysterious countdown on her website. Swift does little by accident, and fans instantly started speculating that something would be revealed on the 12th day of the 8th month at 12 a.m. at 12 o'clock and 12 a.m. Eastern Time, which is when the countdown eventually ran out. So yeah, in classic Swift form, she did revealing that the album title on Travis Kelsey's reel kind of promo
Yeah.
and the announcement of The Life of a Showgirl comes out just after Travis Kelsey revealed on Instagram that Swift would be appearing on the show. Hosted alongside his brother.
Mhm.
On Monday, the podcast teased there would be a special guest, with fans sleuthing that an image of Swift's online
Outline.
suggested that she would be joining them on the show.
Yeah, so as it stands right now, a lot of this has been confirmed. She will be appearing on the podcast, at least somewhat, at least for a portion of time,
Mhm.
tomorrow night. So maybe we'll learn more. According to the little teaser, it's implied that we may even learn what the album artwork looks like, because it was blurred in the little preview, but it might not be blurred in the actual show. So maybe watch the video version if you're usually an audio listener. But yeah, this is exciting news. Taylor Swift's 12, as they call it, her 12th record.
Yes,
Um,
TB12. I mean TS12.
yeah. Yeah, this is of course coming after, let's say, the mixed reception of the Tortured Poets Department. But it was also a very mixed time in Taylor's life. And so maybe more stability, a love story of sorts, no pun intended, might make this a very different kind of album than we got last time. Here's hoping. So yeah, we'll see what this thing sounds like. Seeing as it seems like more of a traditional album rollout than we've gotten the last couple of rounds, maybe we get an actual lead single this time.
Your traditional album rollouts where you announce it on your boyfriend's podcast.
You're you're right. It's not nothing is average and normal for Taylor Swift. What am I talking about? But yeah, I'm very curious about what this thing will be. Just a PSA. There's a leak out there that is purportedly the interior of the vinyl jacket, which does have images and song titles, as well as song lyrics, but this picture quality is not good enough to actually read said lyrics. This seems to suggest that Max Martin and Shellback might be returning as producers, who, of course, produced a lot of Taylor's biggest hits, including songs on Red in 1989, her arguably two biggest records. Whether that's true or not remains to be seen. However, Taylor herself did lend credence to this theory. There were billboards that apparently had codes that you could use to access a Spotify playlist created by Taylor herself, that had just happened to have songs that she worked with Max Martin. What does it mean? Does it mean anything? Who can say? But the Swifties are already getting the tinfoil hats on. They're already in Theory City looking for all the Easter eggs about what the orange glitter color means and when she wore it before and whether this means we're getting a glitter pin record or like it's exhausting, but it's out there if you want it. I watched a video today just out of curiosity of a hardcore Swifties analysis, and I learned way too much. I learned way too much.
Yeah, there's some stuff that Swifties out there know more than Taylor Swift herself because she just does it.
I think so.
It doesn't think too much about it.
You
Or
know,
maybe she
no,
does.
she definitely does because I mean, let's be real. This is someone who wrote a song calling herself a mastermind. I
Mhm.
definitely think she does this stuff at least to a certain extent on purpose, but where that line is between what the fans are extrapolating and where Taylor actually planned it is blurring, and I don't know where that line is.
Hmm. I'm not sure either, but at least I'm happy to know that Taylor and Travis both watch Hacks together because this promo was taken directly from the latest season of Hacks, where they did a promo and be like, oh, they blur out like what it's going to be to get people to watch it and tune in and get the highest ratings. And they did this
That's
exactly
funny.
same thing. I thought, I've seen that before.
What is that in the most recent season?
Yes.
Okay, that's why Christy didn't recognize it because Christy hasn't caught up all the way with Hacks.
Boo.
So we watched that clip. I showed her the clip, so yeah, she would have recognized it if she had finished it. But that's actually a good point. I don't think the Swifties know about Hacks, so that was not talked about in the analysis video that I watched.
No, that's the only analysis you can get here on the Media Boat podcast.
Exclusive. Anyway, um, let's move
That's
on.
gonna be the title, exclusive Swift theory.
No, don't title it that.
What?
Well,
Drive the traffic.
yeah,
Enjoy the moment. Ride the wave. 499.
not a terrible idea. Get a bunch of Swifties tuning in for 500, especially if she
Yes.
randomly drops that thing. Like, and we have a review next week.
Yes.
I don't know. We'll see. Yeah.
I don't know.
The
But yeah,
that is
online, I saw October
yeah.
13th is like anything
Hmm.
before October 13th.
Well, yeah, it has to be before because that's when the vinyls, I guess, ship.
Hmm.
But that means it could be anywhere between literally Friday or later. However, um, apparently the one weekend it's probably not going to be, according to Swifty analysis, is when Ed Sheeran is dropping his record, which is soon. So,
Hmm.
because obviously she wouldn't do a bestie like nasty like that. I don't think she would do that to Ed. So
Well,
yeah,
she also wouldn't do it on the first week of football on the 5th.
she could.
Mm, I don't think so because Chiefs are playing. She's got to go to the game, not
She's got to
promote
go
it.
to the game.
Oh, if it's on Friday release, could go Mean Girls October 3rd. It's a Friday.
It's October 3rd.
Yes.
Yeah, who knows when she's going to release this thing? Maybe by next week we'll have more information for you.
But until then, we'll
Till then.
have to get through episode 500 to get there. But we got the rest of this podcast to get through. So, did you listen to anything?
Here and there. Yeah, I don't really have much to talk about the records that I listen to, so it's fine. We can move on.
All right, then. I did not listen to anything new, but like I said, next week, if there is a new Taylor single, we're going to
Who
talk
knows?
about it with Ricochet by Rise Against, and probably, maybe, I kind of don't want to do it, but I also kind of want to do it, which is Love is Like by Maroon 5.
Don't do it. Don't do it. We don't need it. We don't need to give
I've punished myself
Maroon
before.
5.
I'll do
Yeah,
it
well,
again.
you can learn from your mistakes.
Do I? We'll find out. Let's go to video games, where we start
Yes.
with new releases,
Yeah.
including, hope I say this correctly,
Spell it out.
Dorfromantic.
Yeah, Dwarf Romantic. Yeah, this was a PC game that is now going to consoles.
Yep, because you got it on the PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X.
Hmm.
Next, we've got Drag Cross Drive for the Nintendo Switch 2.
Yes.
Uh, Midnight Murder Club for the PC and PS5. I believe this is the multiplayer game where you run around in a mansion trying to find the murderer.
Yeah, neat idea.
Yeah, I think this is a part of PS Plus, so I might play this if it
Hmm.
is. We also have Toa Plan Arcade Collection, Volume 1 for everything. Wide release. You got it. You can play it. Also, if you happen to beat Volume 1, there's Toa Plan Arcade Collection Volume 2 for everything. Wide release.
I don't know what Toll Plan is. I'm gonna be honest with y'all.
Oh, but they have a
Google it right
collection.
now.
Sorry, they don't have a collection. They have two collections. You know, I would expect them to be a volume three
Oh,
that
they
they just
make
dropped
shoot
with
'em
it.
ups. Okay, they make shoot 'em ups. Got it. Shmups, if you will.
Shmups.
And I won't.
No, thank you.
Anyways.
We also have Echoes of the End for the PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X.
That's when you. No, I'm not gonna make that joke.
That's okay. We also have Senwa's Saga, Hellblade 2 Enhanced for the PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X. And lastly,
When you
everything.
yell in somebody's ass. Sorry, I had to let it out.
You had to let it out.
Echoes of the end. It's when you yell in someone. Never mind.
Way too late for that joke, but just in time for talking about, speaking about the ass, Madden NFL
How
26.
is
It's
that?
here. What?
What does it have to do with asses?
Because on the cover of Madden 26 this year, you have Saquon doing the back uh the back hurdle, the reverse hurdle over the player. So his
Ah,
ass is literally in your face.
I see. Okay, so it is relevant. Okay, thank
Yes.
you.
For the PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, and dropping the same day, Switch 2.
Hey,
It finally got the correct power to do it.
no share play though on the Switch 2 version. Just a heads up. So if you want people to
Mhm.
play people on PlayStation or Xbox, get one of those versions because the Switch version cannot compete.
And you shouldn't be competing in a Madden
Mhm.
game on the Switch version.
Also, heads up, by the way, if you don't have a Switch 2 yet, they're starting to pop up on online retailers. When I was randomly buying a gift for um on the other day, and so it ships by Saturday, I saw that they were just available and add to cart, including the Mario Kart bundle. So if you are waiting for one, now is the time.
Yeah, I saw last week that people were just walking around like, oh, look at all these Mario Kart bundles here. Um, so check out your local retailers.
They
They
might
probably
have
have
them.
them in stock. All right, let's get into some video game news where we've got rhythm games to talk about.
Yeah.
Veterans of the rhythm game genre have established a new development studio called Red Octane Games. According to today's announcement, the small studio plays home to, quote, creators and developers who helped create and scale Guitar Hero and the little known game DJ Hero nearly 2 decades ago, as well as proven emerging development talent and community leaders from across today's rhythm game space. Close quote. Red Octane is currently developing a range of rhythm based experiences, with its first title scheduled to be revealed later this year. It describes itself as a company within Embracer Group's free mode, which offers support and guidance to independently operated businesses. The studio is headed up by Simon Ebejer, who was production director on several Guitar Hero titles over at Neversoft, and then later served as studio head at Vicarious Visions, and then, once they got taken up, was VP of operations at Blizzard
So,
until,
as yeah,
they got taken up.
right. So, yeah, before we started recording, you were like, "Wait, why does Red Octane seem familiar?" The reason is because yes, there was a company already named Red Octane, back in the early Guitar Hero days, one and two specifically.
Mhm.
Um, They were a co-publisher, co-developer slash publisher of the original Guitar Hero games developed by Harmonix. Over time, though, of course, they kind of phased out. They got absorbed by other companies, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, it's kind of an homage to and a name that people are going to remember from the Guitar Hero days and associate with good rhythm games. So I think it's a really smart revival. Because I think that as it was, I don't think there was a way to actually resurrect the old RedOctane because I don't think it exists anymore. So why not use the name? So I think this is cool. More rhythm games is always good news, especially in the vein of the instrument ones that we just don't have anymore.
I'll be sure if they do continue with instrumental rhythm games or if they go sideways into action adventure rhythm games.
Well, it's interesting that they say that they have a that they're developing a range of experiences. That to me sounds
Mhm.
like they've been able to experiment and maybe try new things. I wouldn't be surprised if at least one of those projects is some sort of guitar-based like game peripheral game. But you're right. This gives them the option to explore other kinds of things. We have seen a uptick in the last 5 years, especially of rhythm games being whatever genre you want them to be. Like you said, kind of an action adventure games. We've seen that. We've seen puzzle games. Rhythm games can be seen like done all sorts of different ways now, and hopefully a company that's rhythm game forward will like show that and like have a variety of different ideas.
When you can do a rhythm game through Tetris, you can do a rhythm game through anything.
Truly. The only potential bad news about this story, the only potential downside I see is, of course, the Embracer Group. They have not had a great track record of keeping these smaller developers. Wow, I can't talk. These smaller developers under their umbrella alive for very long. When funding goes away, they usually just shut it down, and that's not a good sign that these guys are reliant upon Embracer's leadership. That said, I trust somebody who worked on the Neversoft Guitar Hero games. Maybe not as good as the first two, but hey, who's Harmonix but Harmonix? And it's cool to have a competitor to Harmonix when they're, trapped in the Epic Games Fortnite world for the foreseeable future.
Right, because they bought them and then now
Yeah,
they're all over there and
they're all
being
over it.
integrated into Lego
Yes.
and whatever other else they want to be
I
integrated
mean,
into.
I think the music stuff that they're doing over there on Fortnite is actually pretty good. I've dabbled in it, and it's high quality. It plays like Rock Band, and it's really fun, and it's really cool that you can use actual plastic guitars to play it, and it feels like it used to. I just don't love how it's a rotation of songs, and not some, and you can purchase them permanently, but they're really expensive for Fortnite items. So it's just like I would like to see what another company has like in terms of ideas for that kind of game because right now there's only one game in town and I would love to see some competition.
You may need to grab a VR headset because I can see a Beat Saber competitor.
Yeah, yeah. Beat Saber is definitely one of those games I'm thinking about when I think of biggest rhythm games of the last decade. So
Mhm.
that's maybe could be an inspiration for them as well.
All right. Did you play anything?
I kind of took a break on Donkey Kong Bonanza, but I do plan on hopefully wrapping that up soon.
Did you at
But
least beat the
otherwise,
main story?
no, still not. Still
Ah,
not. I'm stopped in like maybe the third to last level, so I'll come back to it.
okay. I feel like once you beat it, it's kind of like the end.
No, because I'm gonna go back and get a bunch of bananas that I missed. So there's a lot to play.
All right. I have not been playing anything new, but keeping my eyes open for anything to play when I can.
Cool.
All right. With that, let's keep on cruising then into television, where we slide into the sports corner. And pun definitely intended because
Indeed.
the purest form of baseball is headed to the big leagues, which is in Williamsport. The Little League World Series, the championships, the finals start technically tomorrow, as of this recording, on 8/13, with the championship game wrapping up on 8/24, 10 days later. The US championship is the day before, on the 23rd. The championship on the 24th is the U.S. versus international game, the true winner.
Hmm.
As for your regionals, let's take a look here. Representing the Great Lakes, we have Clarendon Hills out of Illinois. Your metro area gets Fairfield, Connecticut. The Mid-Atlantic is represented by Upper Uchland Township of
Oh,
Pennsylvania.
you could say that again.
I will not. Representing Midwest is Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Representing the mountain region, Las Vegas, Nevada. Representing New England, Braintree, Massachusetts. Representing the Northwest, Bonnie Lake, Washington.
Hmm.
Representing Southeast, Irmo, South Carolina. Representing the Southwest, Richmond, Texas. And representing the West, our not so hometown heroes, Honolulu, Hawaii, because they beat
Hey,
Fullerton in the Western Finals.
rats. So
Almost had it.
close. So close.
Well, it's Golden Hills, Fullerton, but same thing. Over in the international side, we have the always competitive Chinese Taipei, uh, the Brisbane, Queensland, Vancouver, British Columbia, Santa Cruz, Aruba, Brno, Czech Republic, Tokyo, Japan, Barquisimeto, Venezuela, Chihuahua, Mexico, Arajan, Panama, and Yabuco, Puerto Rico. Like I said, the games for both the international and the US kick off on Wednesday, August 13th. Good luck, and we'll see who comes out on top.
I guess so.
Uh,
Yeah.
the US has won the international matchup for the past 7 straight years. So be interesting to see who comes out on top, both in the US and the international. Always fun to watch. Purest form of the game because everyone's like local. It's who you grow up with.
Mhm.
Going over to the professional side of baseball, we have history in the making. And no, I'm not talking about the AUSL anymore. We
No.
have the first female umpire to work
Yes.
a regular season game, Jen Powell, who's made her umpiring debut as the first base umpire,
Mhm.
only to then the very next day become the behind the plate umpire, calling balls and strikes in a major league game.
Yeah, it's a really cool moment that I think a lot of young women are going to be very excited about, especially those who are interested in being umpires. I think this is awesome. I'm all for it.
Yep. Uh, Take a look at the umpire scorecard. It was very middling, not necessarily good, necessarily the worst, but
Which makes sense when you're new,
it makes
right?
sense when
Like
you're new.
that's
Like
is going
your
to be the
first
same
ever
case.
one's going to be right in the middle,
Yeah,
right where it should
right.
be.
Exactly.
Uh, every umpire does have the tendencies. Their tendency
Yes.
was to
Yes.
call strikes on the inside, which people didn't like, and said, "Oh, that's
Mm,
terrible." But if you're terrible but consistent, it's not
yeah.
actually terrible.
And here's the thing is that if you're complaining, that means you don't watch baseball. Because if
Yep.
you do watch baseball, you know that they're constantly making bad calls. Constantly. There are some dudes with reputations about being absolutely terrible. Like, and like you said, the thing about once you learn a person's, like an ump's tendencies, you can pitch to it. You can be like, oh well, I know he always calls these outside balls, so I'm gonna throw outside, just inching ever so further out
Mhm.
until he calls it a ball to see where his zone is. And like, yeah, it's become the strategy at this point. Of course, all of this is going to be interesting to consider if the league does follow through and use the automated automated balls and strike system in the major league next year. Could happen still.
I mean, they did do some of it. Well, no, they did the challenges during
No,
the
well, that's what
spring
I'm talking
training.
about. And what's I want to talk about? Obviously, they're not relying on the ABS. It's the
Mhm,
ABS with the challenge system, like it was used in spring training and like it was used at the All-Star game.
mhm.
There was around the time of the All-Star game, they were claiming that it was going to be used properly next season. But since then, I have not heard that happen said again. So I wonder if the use of it in the All-Star game brought out more criticism of it, and now it's back to being debated. It seems like this is going to be a thing that I think baseball fans and people within the league are going to be yelling at each other about until it just becomes the rule.
I mean, much like with the NFL, which this year they're doing the automated first down. Well, not
Mhm.
automated, the digital first down,
Digital first down.
where they still have the chain gang on the side, but they're not going to be relying on them for a first down. Same thing here. I actually liked in spring training that if the pitcher wanted to challenge it, they just go, "Yeah, give me a challenge," and you have it answered by the time they return to the mound of whether it was a ball or strike. Just instantly, like, yes, that was technically a ball. Yes, that was technically a strike. It does speed up the game and gets. I feel like it gets the count more in favor with the pitcher, which can get them tend to use it a little bit more. But conversely, it also makes the umpires call a better game.
Hmm.
But yeah, I should see, like you said, if we hear more about this, but that won't be until next year. And
Yep.
yeah, I mean, it's always great to see history being made.
Absolutely. Yeah. Firsts. A lot of cool first there.
Yes. But not all firsts are cool, and some of them need to stop, especially in the WNBA.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, stop throwing dildos at professional players.
You'd think we wouldn't have to tell you this, and yet here we are.
I mean, you'd think something like this would be for like immature, like middle school, high schoolers,
Yeah.
not I'm paying a ticket to see professional athletes and I'm going to disrupt the game because I think this
Mhm.
is funny. It's a joke.
So from what I understand, this started in the WNBA, and in
Mhm.
one WNBA game, there was reportedly a dildo that was thrown from the stands and landed on the court. It did not interrupt play, even. It was just there. And I think some of the women noticed, I think. Some of the players kind of looked over. But ultimately it got removed and it was over. And I think if it had just stopped there, then it'd be a thing that we could laugh about and be like, "Oh, that was weird." But then bad actors started glomming onto it, and now it's become a problem. And now it's become yeah, like it's just like people keep doing it. And now people are angry about it because it does interrupt play. It's distracting. And let's be real, in WNBA games, it's kind of sexist. Like, can you imagine if this had started in like in a NBA game? And I don't know, they started throwing canisters of Axe body spray on the court, and then all of a sudden that became a thing.
I mean,
Like
let's be
it's
real here. You have to throw tampons on the court.
gross. Let's not do that.
I'm sorry, is a dildo grosser?
We're not having that conversation here on this
At least a
pod.
tampon is sanitary.
Yeah, the most sanitary. Um, anyway, so yeah, just don't do it is the bottom line. You're right. It's just like it's don't throw things. Actually, how about this? Just don't throw things onto a place where people are playing a professional sport or an
Hmm.
amateur sport, any sport really. Don't do that because you might hurt somebody, which is kind of important.
It's weird having to tell grown adults that you're not supposed to
Hmm.
throw
Yeah,
anything on the court, whether it
right,
be plastics, whether it be food, whether it be alcohol, whether it be fisticuffs. Do not throw stuff at players. You're there for entertainment. You're not there to become part of the entertainment. You're there to
right.
be entertained.
But yeah. Anyway,
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of being entertained and paying players to be entertained, NCAA still happening, and they're still
yeah,
getting NIL deals.
yep,
And the AP poll has the first top five teams currently outranked in the preseason. Whether any of these teams, well, really all five of these teams have a good chance of making the now expanded playoff come January or come December. But at number five, we're going to go up to or 5-1. And number five, we got Georgia, always powerhouse in the SEC. And number four, Clemson, sometimes powerhouse in the SEC. At three, we have the Ohio State, uh, fresh off of their national championship. Boo. At two, Penn State, always a surprise to see in the top 10, rarely up here in the top five. And at number one, the best team in college football is Arch Manning.
No.
I mean, Texas.
Mhm.
But really, it's because Arch Manning, and he is basically the second coming of Johnny Manziel, who ironically was also in Texas.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So
That
yeah,
sounds about right.
yeah. Uh, all a lot of writers and even casual fans know of Arch Manning and are glomming onto him to lead them to the promised land of not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six. Wait, no, that's too much. National titles. But hey, we'll see. It's always great to be ranked first, but when you're at the top, everyone's gunning for you.
Yep. It's true.
All right.
All
And I
right.
believe that's all we have in the television in the sports
Yeah.
section.
But it's a perfect segue into our first television story because it takes us into the world of sports. If you've been paying attention to sports news, you probably heard this one as a major change from a major league has happened this week involving a major sports network. ESPN and the National Football League announced a non binding agreement under which ESPN will acquire NFL Network and certain other media assets owned and controlled by the NFL. That includes NFL's linear Red Zone channel and NFL Fantasy, their fantasy app, in exchange for a 10% equity stake in ESPN. Yeah, I know it's a little confusing, but basically what it means is Disney will basically take on the ownership of Red Zone NFL Network and this app fantasy thing. In like reciprocally, it will
Yes.
be ESPN. And the NFL will invest in an ESPN. Basically, will have a vestment in the success of ESPN as a property
Mhm.
right before ESPN is about to launch their big streaming network. That's key. That's key to remember in this story. NFL and ESPN are also entering into a second non-binding agreement under which the NFL will license to ESPN certain NFL content and other intellectual property to be used by NFL Network and other assets, which makes sense because that's the only way this works.
Mhm.
ESPN would own broad rights to the Red Zone brand. NFL Fantasy Football would merge with ESPN Fantasy Football. ESPN's platforms will license an additional 3 NFL games per season to air on NFL Network exclusively. And the NFL will continue to own and operate its retained media businesses, including properties such as NFL Films and key fan facing platforms such as NFL Plus, NFL.com, the NFL Podcast Network, the NFL FAST channel, and the official sites for the league's 32 clubs. So they're not getting everything in this deal, but that's still a pretty big deal. Like to have all that stuff basically run by ESPN.
I mean, we know that ESPN and Disney own major or not majority stake, but own a piece of the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Think of it the same way here, that they're going to own a piece of the NFL.
Yeah.
And the NFL is investing it into
Mm-hmm.
ESPN with 10%, which they're hoping is going to balloon or that stock price because ESPN bet all up
Yeah.
in there. And
Yes.
hey, if you didn't like fantasy sports and gambling
Too
before,
bad.
it's basically printing free money for them at
It's
this
gonna get
point,
worse. Yeah.
and it's going to get worse. And you're going to see odds on screen for any and all ESPN related NFL content.
Yep.
The one good thing about this is that they're keeping NFL Films separate from this. NFL Films does excellent, amazing work that should never be touched. It's an institution to the NFL in an agreement, and what they do is that they license the ability to record and monetize all these games to NFL Films, and then that's how you get Hard Knocks. That's how you
Yeah.
get um, basically all these clips and specials and shows and like the life of uh, the origin stories, anything related to the NFL Network.
Yeah.
Now, do note this is a preliminary agreement; still has to go through everything FCC regulations. So
Mhm.
the soonest we would see something like this being integrated would be 2026 season.
Mhm. So yeah, so hold your horses before you get too excited about Red Zone changing homes, because it'll be another season until that happens.
Mhm.
All right, which yeah pertains to you, a Red Zone watcher. You can
Yes,
do the same thing you did last time.
you'll still get your NFL Network on your current like cable subscription, your current
Mhm.
packaging. However, if you have ESPN or this new ESPN Unlimited Access app that they're doing, all the NFL Network and anything NFL Network related would come into it automatically.
Yeah. Okay, but ESPN wasn't done there.
Nope,
No,
they
they
made more
made
deals.
more moves this week. Unfortunately, the next one is with well, a more complicated company. The WWE, which we really try not to talk about as much here on the Media Book Podcast for some obvious reasons. And ESPN have announced a new 5-year media rights agreement that will see the Sports Broadcasting Network become the new home for WWE's premium live events, including WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, and SummerSlam, starting in 2026. ESPN will pay an average of $325 million per year in the deal. That is a significant increase from what WWE receives in its current deal with NBC Universal to broadcast all of their premium live events on Peacock. So, yes, once this goes into effect, you will no longer be able to see those events on Peacock and they will be moving to ESPN.
Yes, it does mean that I can cancel my Peacock subscription.
Don't do it.
Nope, nope. Poker Face
Don't
is
do
still
it.
there.
Don't do it.
Twisted Metal is still there.
Yeah, there's stuff to watch on
Golf is
there.
still there. The Masters is still
50,
there.
50 years of Saturday Night Live is there. I need it. Anyway,
It's all there. Yeah, no, I'm not going to cancel it here. But if you only subscribe to Peacock for
mhm.
WWE related events,
Then you can go.
well, now starting in 2026, 4 months from now, you can then switch over to ESPN, where you'll then eventually get all that ESPN content added with it.
Yes. So if you ask yourself,
Uh,
well, what?
do note though that this
Oh,
is just for US based. International
right.
rights
Yes.
still
Yeah.
on Netflix.
Different stuff. Yeah. So you might be asking yourself in this moment, why is ESPN doing all this stuff? Well, as I mentioned before, they have a big initiative that is coming very, very soon because the new ESPN direct-to-consumer streaming service is set to launch on Thursday, August 21st. That's way sooner than I think anybody thought. That is according to Variety, which of course is just in time for the start of the upcoming NFL and college football seasons. See, this is why it wasn't on my radar, because it's the sports I don't care about.
Right,
The
because
ESPN,
college football kicks off 2 days later on the 23rd.
got it. The ESPN direct-to-consumer streaming service and Fox One service, which is being treated, I guess, as kind of a sister service to this, right?
Yes.
Because they're the Fox Sports is
No, no,
owned
no.
by,
This is a separate service that's yeah, you can get bundled with
yeah,
it.
yeah, will be available to consumers starting August 21st, and the combined bundle will cost $39.99 a month? Question mark.
Yes.
Okay, starting October 2nd. So the bundle won't be available until later. But if
Yes,
you
that's
want,
not $40 a year. That's
no, I wish. I was like, oh God, I don't know how much ESPN by itself is going to be. Is that 20?
uh well, they no longer offer ESPN Plus kind of standalone. You usually have to get that bundled with
No,
Disney Plus or Hulu.
but isn't this a different app?
It's a completely different separation, yes.
That's what I'm asking. This new ESPN app, how much is that going to be? Do you know? Is it going to be 20?
Uh I believe so. Let me double check.
We don't know, folks. We're going to find out right now. We're going to find out when you find out at home. when you're listening to this. Although, if you're home listening to this, you may
It
have
will
already
launch
know.
with a $30 pricing.
$30?
Yeah, 29.99.
That's not worth it.
Yeah, but for an extra $10, you can get all the Fox stuff.
I guess so, but not until October.
Yes.
I don't know. That's coming in hot, like higher than I thought it would. I don't know if that's worth it. But hey, it's not for me. Let's
Yeah,
move on then.
but for $10, you can get all the Fox stuff, which is what the next story is here.
Yeah. Yeah, in case you were wondering what that Fox One is, Fox One is Fox live streaming and on-demand access with featured content from Fox News, Fox Business, Fox Weather, Fox Sports, FS1, FS2, Big Ten Network, Fox Deportes, Fox local stations, and the Fox Network, as well as options to bundle Fox Nation and B1G Plus, whatever that is, within one platform.
That's the Big Ten.
Well, that's not what it says.
That's the Big Ten about that. B1G is how it's written out in all the logo stuff.
Oh,
Big Ten
got
plus.
it. Big Ten. Anyways, yeah, I hate this. I hate this because people just want the sports, but they have to take the news with it. There's
Right.
going to be people who
We could
are,
have had venue, but no. Fubo made sure of
this,
that.
yeah, no, you're right. I think that this is the backup plan, right? This is ultimately what they decided to do when venue broke, and they were like, well, let's do our own.
And this is how they get around saying it's not just a sports app.
Yes, but also this is how they get around with it's not just a Fox News app, which is what I'm
Yes.
saying. I think this is Trojan
It goes
horsing.
both ways. Yes.
Yeah, it's Trojan horsing because they know it's going to be most popular with people who want the Fox Sports for the NFL games. And
Mhm.
they're going to have to deal with fucking all those Fox News assholes in their menu when they're scrolling through stuff.
Well, and the Fox business assholes and the Fox weather assholes.
Yeah, let's
And
be real. There's a lot of assholes. But yeah, I don't like
that's what the
that
big
at
O right
all.
in the middle is.
Ew. Ugh, I don't want to think about that too long. Let's move on. But hey, we're not done talking about ESPN, weirdly enough, because we're going to talk about their parent company, Disney, and some other moves that Disney is making.
Yeah, because when you make one splash and want to cover it up, you make multiple splashes, so it all hits at the same
Yeah,
time.
you overwhelm is, I think, the strategy. You
I wonder
just
where they got that strategy from.
yeah, it seems popular these days. Yes, Disney, of course, is following the footsteps of Netflix and others, and soon will no longer report the number of subscribers for its Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus streaming services, saying that those metrics have become, quote, less meaningful to evaluating the performances of our businesses. This is. At the end of June, by the way, Disney's combined Disney Plus and Hulu subscribers reached 183 million, an increase of 2.6 million versus the previous January to March quarter.
So yeah,
Meanwhile, though, there are changes happening regardless.
yeah, the numbers go up, but I think most numbers have kind of plateaued with a
Mhm.
plus minus 3 to 5 million. It's not like
Yes.
you're going to see a big drop off, especially with
Yeah.
this next story, because the reason they're
Yes.
not going to start reporting numbers.
Yes, because the time has finally come. The thing we've been talking about was an inevitability on this podcast for about 5 years now is finally actually happening. Ever since Disney bought them, you figured that this was going to be the case. And here we are. Disney Plus will fully absorb Hulu and all its content, with the two platforms fully integrating into a single unified app by 2026. Disney CEO Bob Iger says that customers will still be able to buy Hulu and Disney Plus subscriptions separately, but the new unified app is set to deliver an improved customer experience, which is good news because I hate using Disney Plus. I think it's the worst streaming service to navigate, in my opinion. I'd much rather use Hulu. And so it's interesting now that it's just going to be in one place.
I mean, it's nice, convenient that's going to be in one place. I will like to see how they're going to separate it between
Yes.
whether you call it Hulu, whether you call it Disney Plus, or you
Yeah.
just call it the Disney app, and then from there you go to Disney Plus or Hulu if you have
Yeah.
separate. Of course, if you have both, it just goes straight into one.
Yeah.
which is you're
Also,
paying for convenience.
which I was going to say, speaking of paying, the other question here is, will they keep the pricing of the bundle pricing as the new pricing, or will they use this as a opportunity to raise the price, the whole price on it, because they know people are going to want the unified app more? I don't know.
Right. And does that include ESPN Plus or the new
Or the
$30
new thing.
ESPN Unlimited?
I'm going to guess with that price point, no. They want you to probably have both of those things. I think that that's the split now. I think maybe they do a bundle with the so-called Disney app plus the ESPN, but that's probably going to be like $60, knowing how these things work. So get ready, people, because if you want to keep your Disney, Hulu, and ESPN content, you're going to have to pay a lot for it very soon. The new cable is here and it's streaming.
I mean, 20-year run for Hulu is pretty good.
It's not bad. They lasted a while.
Yeah. But if you are paying Disney this money, it may not go where you want it to go.
No, because Disney has made some other deals outside of the corporate realm, this time with the personal. Lucasfilm and Walt Disney Company have reached a mutual agreement. Pardon me.
Oh no,
Uh,
that's on purpose.
no, it wasn't, but yeah, it might as well be. With none other than Gina Carano following her firing from The Mandalorian. Carano, if you remember this, way back in 2021, was fired from The Mandalorian after sharing several controversial social media posts, including one that compared being a Republican to being Jewish during the Holocaust. Oh boy, that's really hard to hear. Disney's lawyers filed a motion in April 2024 to throw out the lawsuit, arguing that it had a First Amendment right to fire the actor, stating it has a constitutional right not to associate its artistic expression with Carano's speech. Well, so much for that. And in case you're wondering where the money came from, Carano's lawsuit was funded by everyone's favorite, Elon Musk. Just a parade of great people here, huh? Hmm.
So was this like dirty back in 2021, or is it dirtier now in 2025?
I don't think it matters. I think it's dirty anytime, and it's gross. And there's a reason why. Let's be real. Again, I don't know how many times we have to point at the sign, but the First Amendment does not mean that you can say anything that you want because businesses exist. It's almost kind of a weird irony to it, considering that the people usually complaining about this kind of thing are the people who are supporting these big businesses, right? But here's the thing: a business can choose who shops with them, they can choose who represents them. There's no such thing as the First Amendment if Disney decides that they don't want Gina Carano to represent the brand. That's not the First Amendment does not apply. The First Amendment is for government, is for you interacting with your government, that the government can't come and punish you for saying something against the government. Although that is becoming less and less likely each day, isn't it? So
Right.
yeah, it's like there's just always been this misinterpretation of what the First Amendment actually is and means. So Disney was right here. Disney was right, and now all of that is going back. All of that is reversing because they want to kowtow to this new, like I was going to say hip, but it's not even the hip people doing it; it's the nerds that are like saying, "Oh well, like this is like you can only have like this conservative way of thinking now." It's like, what are we talking about? Like, oh, you should be able to say whatever you want on social media about, yeah, within reason. It's a social media company is also a company, and they can also decide what speech is on their platform. Fun fact.
Freedom of speech, not freedom of consequences. It's
Mhm.
why we still say
Yes.
Morgan Wallen and don't bring him up when we don't want to,
Yeah.
because that is the consequence of Morgan Wallen's stupid actions.
Yeah, and I don't think Gina Carano should be rewarded for saying those things and lauded by some people for saying these things. It's just, it's frustrating. But of course, Disney's going to do that because they know that if they sidle up to the federal government right now, that the federal government will help them out. It's why all those rich billionaires were at the inauguration because they want to be good bedfellows with the federal government, so the federal government keeps giving them money and letting them lobby. It's all connected.
Let's make this thing full circle. And isn't ESPN and Disney trying to make a certain merger go through the FCC right now?
Maybe so. Yeah, I know. It's all connected.
Yeah,
Anyways,
nothing lives in a vacuum anymore.
it sucks. All right, let's move on.
All right.
Because oh, by the way, I don't want to be contradictory, so I'm going to make this clear. I know last week we talked about payment services and how I thought that the payment services shouldn't be able to like decide what or what cannot be cannot be sold in a marketplace. That is different from corporations. I want to make that absolute clear because when you decide you are a money lending service, if you are a bank, if you are, then you are making money no matter what the transaction is. So why do you morally care? Like that is a different conversation. I just want to make sure people don't go slide into our thing. Not that anybody listens to this, but if they did and
Oh,
were
we
like,
got
"Well, that's not
emails.
what you said last week. Last week you were talking about how they shouldn't decide." Well, that's different when you're a business. They're not a they're a different kind of business. But it's fine.
Anyways,
Anyway, do you watch any television this week? You kind of
uh,
unloaded your thoughts already, so
yes, I
you don't
loaded a
have that many
lot of my
left.
thoughts already. Two thoughts we need to talk about. I forgot that I put them down here.
Okay.
First up, speaking of hard-hitting thoughts, it's back. Speaking of NFL films, they're back.
Oh, the
Hard
Hard
Knocks.
Knocks.
Yes, preseason is here, and so is Hard Knocks. This time with the Buffalo Bills
Yep.
and the reigning NFL MVP, Josh Stallion.
Good name.
Uh, well, it's Josh Allen, but he's a
Oh.
fantasy god, so we call him Josh Stallion. So yeah, it's Buffalo this year. Uh, it's fine right now. I'm waiting to see what next week's episode is because gotta revolve around James Cook and him holding out and wanting a bag and money. And we haven't seen that in the first episode, but new episodes are every Tuesday when they drop, which means that when we record on Tuesdays, I won't be able to talk about it until the following week, but
Hmm.
it's Hard Knocks. You like
Yeah.
it. It's football.
You
It
know
gets
what
you
it is.
hyped. You know what this is. It's training camp with the Buffalo Bills. So watch all your favorite Buffalo Bills players. And if you don't know any Buffalo Bills players, you can watch and gain some knowledge into the Buffalo Bills players and see just how like nerdy Josh Allen is. Because like him and Joe Burrow are both super nerds. And it's funny to watch.
That's pretty funny.
Which yeah, I also finished quarterback. I don't know if I talked about that. I think I did.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
briefly.
season two. But yeah, yeah, we finished that. Joe Burrow, super nerd. It's super funny.
Huh.
Um,
Well, you know.
Other thing that I watched last week came out, binged it because it's only 10 episodes compared to its typical 23 episode order. Because no longer on network television, it's on Hulu. Saddle up to Arlen, Texas, cause it's King of the
Right.
Hill.
Yes,
As
the
he,
reboot.
yes, the 10 episode reboot. And I've seen different takes online to where it's great and to where they don't know why they did certain things because it's 10 episode order. You don't have 23 episodes where you can have long running stories, where you
Turns
can
out.
have more character development and growth. If things feel rushed in 10 episodes, it's because you're watching a 10 episode season and not a 23 episode season.
Yeah,
Things need to move a whole lot faster in 10 episodes.
a little
Cut down on
different.
the time. But one like so first of all, I can gush about this. I think it's great. I think every episode is great. Every line hit, they don't lose a step. I love that they were in Saudi Arabia for several years before coming back, and it feels like it's a step in for the audience of hey, we're coming back to Ireland, coming back home to King of the Hill, and things have changed, not just for the hills, but for you as an audience as well. And it's good to see like, oh, they're taking on modern uh contrivances as Hank goes into retirement. So he's no longer a propane and propane accessory salesman, but rather how do you adjust to having no direction now? Where do you go? And how do you adjust to a retirement as someone who has values and has like had their whole life built around who they are as a person connected to that they work? Well, if you no longer work, what do you do? On the flip side of that, Bobby Hill is now working. So he's got to deal with growing up being a 21-year-old who didn't go to college in Ireland or in Dallas, actually, trying to make it in the world as a chef, a German Japanese fusion chef, which sounds strange. It is kind of a bit strange, uh, but I love what they did with it. I love the way they work with it. The characters, how they interact with everyone. It does feel a little bit like there were some about three different like start stops in that first pilot episode. Just because it feels like trying to like reintroduce, but also if you already know, you know, but
Mhm.
also like we also have a new audience coming in for 10 episodes, who may not have seen every single episode of King of the Hill, but understand like the gist of it.
Mhm.
So first episode was a bit rocky, but overall I liked what they did. My one complaint through these 10 episodes is that the A plots and the B plots don't always overlap. The second episode, really great because it's Hank and Bobby going at it at a beer fest, about craft beering and like how they
Mhm.
each like approach beer, how they each approach life. It's a great, excellent episode that has very many layers and commentary, and just every joke hits.
Yeah.
But then when you get out of that, the Hank, the Hank and the Hills plot, and like a plot, rarely overlap with Bobby and his plot. You
Mm.
should have some overlap. You should have some
Yeah.
crossing.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot. So it feels like you're watching two separate shows, especially when they cut back and forth a lot. That's my only like really complaint about that. Otherwise, everything hits, everything slaps, jokes are great. The apparently Mike Judge like only worked on the first episode and let get his gaggle of writers room have at it for the rest, which is great. It's excellent. It brings fresh new voices into it. Uh, yeah, I mean, it's 10 episodes. I enjoyed it. If you enjoyed King of the Hill, you're gonna enjoy this. I've seen some complaints about Bobby Hill and his relationships,
Mhm.
but it's 10 episodes. You're not
Yeah.
going to get a full depth relationship. It's going to be very fast, one or two episodes, because
Mhm.
you only have 10 episodes to work with. If you work with two episodes, that's a fifth of your time there, already dedicated to one relationship. You
Right.
can't have it go for a quarter of the season and then all of a sudden they're written off and like, wait, why did I spend four episodes if you're not going to be here for the rest of the other six?
Mhm. Mhm. No, that makes
Uh,
sense. Yeah.
yeah, I think if they had more episodes, yeah, you could do a lot more and have more drawn out kind of recurring characters. But because it's 10, it keeps everything nice and tight and concise.
Yeah. No, I'm glad that it's really good. It seems like most of the people who like the original show are really liking this. And it's been a huge success. I saw numbers today that say that apparently it drew 4.4 million people in its first week on Hulu, and that is apparently the best that a animated adult, like an adult animated show, has ever done on Hulu in its first week. So congratulations. This thing
Futurama
is
cries its tears.
right. Yeah, I know. I mean, yeah, I think it had been long enough. Futurama came back twice, like three times,
Three times.
uh,
Comedy
three
Central.
times. Yeah, and so it's like wild that like it took this long for us to get more King of the Hill. Yes, King of the Hill lasted a lot longer, but that's neither here nor there. And so yeah, there's a lot of nostalgia for it, and it's a very interesting thing to bring back in the current era, as you can attest to by some of the stuff you
Mhm.
talked about. I think Hank Hill has always been a character that is a perfect a perfect way to show that you can be stuck in your ways and ignorant to a certain extent, but also a good person and learn from your mistakes. Because I think that that is an archetype that needs to be seen more, and that's what the heart of King of the Hill has always been is like let's show a rural like Texas community that actually wants to that and somebody at the heart of it that wants to be better, that wants to better themselves and wants to learn and wants to not be the stick of the mud guy. And I think that that's the thing that the engine that is keeps it going and I think will forever be relevant as long as we do have this split by coastal political energy in America.
Yeah, there's one episode that I want to call out, which is where he takes on like or toxic masculinity.
I've heard a lot about this episode.
Yes,
Yeah.
and the why the success is like of everyone here, Like, I'm the only one who has a successful marriage, who is still with my wife. And it was
Uh-huh.
like,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, he is. He is right
because
here.
because he learns. That's the
Yes,
thing is that it's like the show knows what the kind of character he is, and I think that yeah, it's really cool and important in a way to see something like that come back and be just as good as it always was and have the satire land in the way that it needs to. Yeah, and hopefully we'll get more of it. I mean, 4.4 million people, it sounds like that we probably will see more of this sooner than later.
yes. It does take a couple of years to produce
Make
these
it, yeah.
episodes.
Yeah, that's the other thing. But I mean, I've heard also similar things about the other animated Mike Judge series, the reboot of Beavis and Butthead. They've been able to crank a lot of those episodes out in the last 3 or 4 years now, and people love that one too. So if it, I'm assuming they use the same studio, and so yeah, if that's any indication, we're gonna get more.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Did you watch anything else?
Uh, Nothing of note. Bachelor in Paradise continues on ABC, if that is your cup of tea. It's actually interesting. They're trying some different things this year. But again, I'm not really preaching to a choir here, so just trust me on that. And then what else is going on? No.
Uh, so we're next show we're gonna watch is the Jason Momoa Chief of War
Oh, yeah, yeah,
on Apple TV Plus. It's
yeah.
gotten
Okay.
some pretty good reviews, pretty good buzz.
Okay.
It's just that it's a drama, and each episode is an hour long. So it's like,
Yeah, it's a lot.
we can't binge this, so we're gonna take
It's
our time with it.
a lot to get into.
Yeah.
All right. In that case, let's move on then, shall we, into cancellations and renewals.
What am I no longer watching?
Got a shorty this week. Just one cancellation, one renewal. Disney Plus has canceled Goosebumps, the series, after 2 seasons. Um,
And Jason
sure.
Swimmer is unemployed again.
Damn. And then One Piece, the live action One Piece, is confirmed to be getting a third season on Netflix. That will be in anticipation of the second season, which is premiering soon.
Yes, the trailer for that second season just
Mhm.
dropped this past
Yes.
week. And then
And the
they
One
announced, yeah,
Piece
we'll get 3 seasons.
and the One Piece freaks are already super excited. So
Yeah,
must be working for them.
must be. I
We're
mean,
not your source.
the anime still
Sorry,
goes.
the Media Boat podcast is not your source for One Piece news. You can
I know
literally
we make a
go,
lot of boat
yeah.
puns and jokes, but we are not on that
Ironically,
sail.
no,
We're
but
not on
it's
that
fine.
voyage.
It's fine because you can literally go to any other podcast with a guy that looks exactly like me, and he will probably have read all of One Piece.
All 1,000
Yeah,
episodes.
all 1,000 manga chapters. All right, let's move on to the movie section, which is the last section of the show. We always start the movies with the weekend box office numbers. And we start with, wow, we were wrong again, both of us. Because your number one movie was not Freakier Friday. Apparently, the nostalgia factor failed us and is instead Weapons, which I think is a terrible, terrible name for a movie. But I guess I'm wrong, folks. I'm double wrong, I guess. It debuted to $43 million dollars this week. And coming in at number two was Freakier Friday with only $28 million dollars.
Which, to be fair, we did put it at 25 million.
I get like a half point for being right, but I don't get any points because I was wrong about the number one movie. So it's this week's a wash. We both lose.
Yes.
Um, but number three is the Fantastic Four First Steps with another $15 million. That's a 230 million domestic. Number four, The Bad Guys 2, $10 million this week. That's at 43 million. And rounding out your top five, The Naked Gun hanging out with $32 million. I did not happen to see it this weekend, so I cannot talk about it today,
Oh,
though I really wanted to. But yeah, then way, 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 way down at number 14 with only $433,000. My Mother's Wedding. Apparently, nobody knew about this and nobody cared.
Colin Jost did not promote his wife's material,
No.
so Scarlett Johansson can only bring in $433,000 when no one is promoting it.
Yeah, except for the fact that she's now the most like money-making star in
Well,
film,
that's only
right?
because Jurassic World made $1 billion
Yeah,
because they always make a
I'll
billion
do it.
dollars.
Yeah. So I think she's fine. I don't think Scarlett Johansson needs more money, is what I'm saying. I think they're okay. But upcoming this week, I know, what a stab in the dark there. But this weekend, though, we
I don't know.
have
There's nothing to make a riff of that about.
right, no, nothing. There are, oh boy, four, count them, four movies that we need to talk about briefly that are coming out this weekend. First up,
Oh,
Shin
wait.
Godzilla is getting its
Sorry, this is a
American release
re-release.
finally.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
this is
was
a
like,
re-release.
this is getting a theatrical release in America, I think, for the first time, which is exciting because I've heard good things. So yeah, if you want to see a Godzilla film, here's a good one. We also have Americana.
Yes, this is Sydney Sweeney in her jeans.
Right. We don't need to talk about that.
No, but it also stars Paul Walter Hauser, fresh off his take in Fantastic Four First Steps.
Ha. Okay. We
Also,
also have
Halsey's in it.
Halsey's in it.
Yeah.
Weird. Okay.
If
Um,
any of those people interest you, you can go see Americana.
that's pretty weird. Um, Next we have Nobody 2, which of course is the sequel to Nobody, where Bob Odenkirk gets to beat up people on his vacation. So there you go.
Mhm.
And lastly, Highest to Lowest, which is, I hope, the sequel to Highest One Lowest, but it's probably not.
No, this is Denzel Washington is
Uh-huh.
a producer, Apple TV Plus film. Uh, yeah, he's a producer, and then his like son gets kidnapped, and he's got to. It's basically a ransom movie.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Okay.
Denzel
Okay.
Washington, Jeffrey Wright, ASAP Rocky
Okay.
is in it.
Sure.
Yeah,
Why not?
sure, why not?
Yeah, sure. All right. Well, that exists.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's make our bet for the big episode 500. We better be right, at least one of us. So we can't both be wrong again. So yeah, it's Nobody 2, right? That's your number one movie?
Ooh, does Nobody 2 make over $20 million?
Yes, I do think it does. Although I'm not going to go too much higher than that if I was the one, but I think it's your turn since I picked
All right.
25 last week. I think it's your
Okay.
turn to
Well, if you
choose a
think it's
number.
going to go over 25, I don't think it will. We'll split it right there. I'll take
Okay.
weapons, repeating at number one, and you will take
Wow, you're gonna
nobody
go
two.
with weapons over Nobody 2. I
Yes.
think Nobody 1 was a surprise hit. I think Nobody 2 is getting marketed up the wazoo. Like if I've seen ads for Nobody 2, that means it's getting out there. So I think that that's your number one movie.
You want to know what else was a surprise hit and then got a sequel and no one cared for?
What?
M3 again.
Well, I was wrong about that one, but I
And you'll
feel
be
better
wrong about
about
nobody
this.
too.
Well, we'll find out next week now, won't we?
I
All
guess
right.
we shall.
We, we. Okay. So that's next week. We'll report back
Yes.
with those numbers. But to wrap up the show, we have movie news for you. Hey, we kind of talked about this a few weeks ago when we talked about this was going to happen. Now it's official. In the world of union SAG-AFTRA, Fran Drescher will not be seeking another term as president after 4 years in charge. The union released a list of candidates, as we mentioned before, for the upcoming election. Sean Astin, everyone's favorite, who has served on the negotiating committee and the national and local boards, will indeed run for president against Chuck Slavin, a member of the local board in New England. Astin and Michelle Hurd are running together under a new slate called The Coalition. Ooh. Slavin and Peter Antico are running as independent candidates, meanwhile. Another round of contract negotiations with the AMPTP, that's the Producers Guild, is set for next year. Both campaigns are focused on issues like health and pension benefits, streaming residuals, and protections against generative AI. Ballots are set to go out to members on August 13th and are due to be returned by September 12th. So it'll be about a month until we hear the basically how this is going to go, where this is going to land. Sean Astin does have name recognition. I bet most of the people do recognize him, which is probably going to help their case. And yeah, I really hope that the contract negotiations they're ready to kind of fight that fight when it comes next year.
Yeah, kind of slow news week for movies.
Yeah,
The only other thing that was out there was just saying how good Weapons was and why people kept like wanting to go see it. Why is it the surprise hit? Why do people like horror movies here? So yeah, Fran Drescher, that was the name that we were waiting on. Would she run again? Would she become a
yeah.
third person in this race?
And nope, she's
But
out.
no,
So
four
it's a
years.
brand new
It's
game.
a nice. Yep. Uh, will be interesting to see if Sean Astin gets it. probably will. He's got the name recognition going against it. He was on that committee.
Mhm.
So is it too early to crown him? If politics is anything to go by, yes. Don't crown
Mhm.
anyone too early until the votes are in.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. That'll do it for the movie news. That'll do it for the movie section, and that'll do it for the Media Boat podcast this week. That's 499 episodes in the can, folks. We just have
Ew.
one more. Yeah, in the can. Yep, I'm flushing it right now. So yeah, if you want to watch the rest of them, there's ways to do that. It's on our YouTube channel. Well, not all of them, but a lot of them. Trust me, you have more than enough videos on the YouTube channel to keep you busy. You can find that by searching Media Boat Podcast on the YouTube, finding our channel, liking, subscribe, and hey, if you like new videos such as number 500 next week, you can do that too by clicking the bell for notifications when new videos go live. You can also find our audio version of the podcast on podcast services such as whatever you listen to, including Spotify, by searching Media Boat Podcast. That does have every episode we've done if you dig through that archive. So yeah, you could listen to all 499 before next week. I do not recommend it, and also I think that's literally impossible because of how long they are. I don't think you
Even
could
on
do that in
double
a week.
speed, it'll take you a while.
Maybe, yeah, maybe double speed, but then even then, 10, yeah, almost 10 years of podcast. I don't think you can do it. So yeah, we'll be back, with that. You can also find us on the internet. We're on MediaBoatPodcast.com. We're on social media, including Blue Sky, if you search MediaBoat Podcast there. You can find us on twitch.tv/MediaBoat if you want to see Mike playing the occasional video game. And you got anything going on there? No?
No, I was trying to look for a new
New game to stream?
movie show or movie story, but
Oh,
nothing, no
well,
breaking
nothing.
news at
It's
5
fine.
o'clock on a Tuesday.
It's fine. And then, last but definitely not least, if you want to email us any questions, concerns, feedback, anything you want to tell us and have it read on the show, you can email us at mediaboatpodcast@gmail.com. All right, that'll do it. We'll be back next week for episode 500. We'll see you then. Goodbye.
All right. We'll be back with more news, more
Mm-hmm.
thoughts, and more of us.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
five,
And
all
500.
right, 500.
500.
All right, bye.
Okay, bye.